Welcome again to this series of video classes. In this lesson, we discuss the use of future and most common mistakes. When we're talking about the future, we can use different expressions. We can use will, we can use the present continuous, future with going to, and we can also use simple present for the future. Each one of these structures are going to give the speaker a different tone, a different idea, a different a different intention. So, for example, when we use will, we are talking about sentences that are going to be talking about decisions made on the spot, promises and offers. And we can also use will when we are talking or using the expressions I think, I believe, or I guess. When we use the present continuous, we're talking about definite plans and arrangements. When we use future with going to, we are talking about plans for the future. Normally, the present continuous and future with going to are very similar. The basic difference between these two is that when you use the present continuous, you need to use you need to use a specific time expression. For example, I'm taking my grandfather to the hospital next week. In contrast to, I am going to take my grandfather to the hospital. In the second sentence, we can use a time expression, but it's not normally required. But when we use the present continuous, like in the first sentence, we do need to use a time expression. So remember, the difference between present continuous and future with going to is very slight. So you normally need a time expression with the present continuous. We can also use the simple present for the future. We use it to talk about schedules, timetables, and fixed activities. Now, let's go back to the use of will. Will is normally used to talk about decisions made on the spot. These are decisions that the speaker takes at the moment of speaking. Let's say that you are talking to your mother and you are interrupted by other person and you just say to your mother, "Okay, mom, I'll call you later." This is a decision made on the spot. Or you can also use these other sentence, "We'll take the train, we'll use an Uber." All these structures are talking about a decision made on the spot because we are using will. So you give the intention to these sentences. I could use, for example, "I am going to call you later." But my intention, if I use "I am going to call you later," changes. So remember, the use of future is exactly connected to your opinion, to your intention, to the intention of the speaker. We can also use will when we're talking about promises. For example, "I'll do the cooking." "I'll fill the tank before we leave." "I want speed." All these are promises you're making to other people, and so you use will. You can also use will when you're talking about offers. For example, "I'll bring the sodas." "I'll feed the dog." "I'll water the plants." All of these are offers. With expressions like "I think." "I think I'll visit my father." "I think she'll turn to the right." "I believe we'll take the highway." In all these examples, we are using expressions like "I think," or "I believe," or even "I guess." So remember, when you use these expressions and you are talking about the future, you want to use will. Now, now I hope that this class was useful to you, and now you can continue working on the lesson. Thank you for listening.